The jungle awakens. A thick blanket of mist clings to the lowland river as dawn breaks over the tall trees. Birds scatter. A spider scurries away from the intrusion. The camera follows a line of early builders barefoot through tall, damp grass. Their lower legs are bare, their skin rough, their shoulders marked with lines of dried mud. They carry stone axes, woven baskets, and knives of sharpened flint. Their breath hangs visible in the cool morning air. They move steadily toward the tall trees on the riverbank. Their leader raises his spear and points up into the canopy. One man hefts his axe, then brings it down sharply. The tip bites into the tree, and the man steps back, bracing himself as the massive tree groans and the forest echoes with the strike. With each blow, splinters fly, and the men dodge, keeping their distance from the falling giant. Finally, the trunk gives way with a deep crash and settles onto the ground. High above, vines sway in the breeze. Another man raises his spear, then leaps, grabbing hold of a nearby vine and hauling himself up into the tree. He drops down to the other side and reaches for another vine, pulling himself up to the leafy canopy. There he works quickly, stripping bark from the branches. His knife flashes as he cuts through the fibers. Below, another builder chops branches into levers to pry the tree apart. The sound of stones striking wood echoes in rhythm with the sharp crack of the snapping vines. Their bodies tense, focused. Every swing builds toward a greater purpose. The camera lingers as sweat rolls down the man's shoulders, his muscles straining as he and his companions drag the logs toward the riverbank. Ropes of twisted fiber bite into their hands. Younger workers follow, carrying smaller branches for kindling fires. The jungle floor trembles under their weight. Mud splashes against their legs as they haul material through streams. Insects buzz close to their faces. Then the scene shifts abruptly. Two hunters move silently through the tall ferns, their spears held high. They pause to listen, then continue forward. A wild boar roots in the undergrowth, unaware of the danger. The lead hunter raises his spear. For a moment they freeze as if carved from stone. Then the hunter moves forward, his spear flashing out. The wild boar squeals and runs. The two hunters burst into motion, crashing through the undergrowth. They move like predators, swift and relentless. They corner the boar, and after a struggle, bring it down. Blood stains the emerald leaves. Then the hunters drag the dead animal back toward camp, where a group of women stand waiting. The smell of wood smoke mingles with the sweet decay of rotting vegetation. Nearby, a woman crouches beside a rock pool in the river, gutting a fish with her stone blade. She tosses the bones aside and turns to the newcomers. The hunters leave the carcass at her feet and wash their hands in the shallow water. The camera pans to a fire pit lined with stones, where a man carefully skews meat above the orange flames. Sparks drift upward and vanish in the blue smoke. The crackle of fire mingles with the constant hum of the jungle. Across the fire, an older man watches, lost in thought. The others eat in silence, their jaws working steadily. After a while, the younger men gather new branches for the fire. The older man rises, his gaze sweeping the camp. He points toward the river. The workers nod and return to their labors. The sun climbs higher in the sky, and shadows shorten as the builders prepare the first stones. Men hammer edges with flint, shaping corners with their blades, lifting slabs onto wooden sleds. They secure the loads with ropes. Other men place logs beneath as rollers. Movement is slow, agonizing yet steady. The camera focuses on a man's calloused hands, gripping a thick vine, his feet pushing deep into the mud. The stone inches forward, barely perceptible but sure. A drop of sweat drips from his forehead and rolls down his neck, mingling with the MUD on his chest. Another man secures a log in place with a length of vine. The camera closes in on his face. Beads of sweat on his brow, eyes fixed on the task at hand, his lips pursed in concentration, every muscle in his body coiled tight with effort. Then a flicker of satisfaction as the stone finds its place. As the sun climbs, shadows lengthen, and the walls begin to rise layer after layer. The builders lift stones onto the sleds, securing them in place. Men climb the crude scaffold of lashed branches, passing stones from below. Others pack clay into the cracks between the stones. Near the base of the wall, men build a torch, keeping it fueled with resin and dry grasses. Flames rise and hiss, casting flickering shadows on the rough stone. Dust clings to skin and clothes, coating everything in a thin layer of grey. Children run through the camp, tossing small rocks at the outcroppings. Nearby, a woman sits cross-legged, weaving rope. As she bends to pick up a fallen strand, the camera lingers on her face, weathered and lined, her eyes filled with a deep sadness. Her fingers work deftly, creating a strong cord from flexible vines. Nearby, a young girl kneels beside a pile of rocks, sorting through the pebbles, picking out those that fit together best. Her tongue poking out from the corner of her mouth in concentration. Another boy runs through the camp, collecting branches and weeds. His movements are quick and sure, stopping only to tie stray branches into bundles with the lengths of vine. As the day wears on, the wall grows, though the progress seems almost imperceptible. Just beyond the construction site, a lizard darts between rocks, disappearing into the green gloom. High above, the monkeys chatter incessantly. A gecko peers from a crevice. Its eyes bulge. A bee lands on a flower, sipping sweet nectar. In the late afternoon, the workers gather near the riverbank. Men sharpen spears. Women weave mats from broad leaves. Children collect reeds. A pair of lovers embrace, sharing a kiss. A mother cradles her newborn child close. A woman combs the tangled hair of a young girl. She takes a small stone and places it in the child's hand. The girl looks up at her mother, then back at the rock. She throws it toward the river, then laughs as it skips across the surface of the water. The sky darkens as the sun begins its final descent. Torches flare along the riverbank, their flames leaping toward the sky. Men crouch beside the river, fishing with nets and hooks made of bone. Others mend their clothing, repairing rips with patches of hide. Still others carve new tools from flint. Some sit in circles, sharing stories and jokes. A few sleep curled in the shelter of great stone boulders. The jungle presses close, alive with the calls of nocturnal creatures. Above, stars glimmer through the thick canopy. The camera lingers on a man's weathered face, lost in the flickering firelight. His eyes reflect the flames. The walls loom dark behind him, unfinished yet immense. Time passes in cycles. The camera cuts to fires at night. Sparks drift upward as builders crouch in a circle, carving new tools from flint, repairing broken ropes, cracking bones for marrow, their faces lit orange against the black jungle, the walls looming dark behind them, unfinished yet immense. Dawn again, dew dripping from leaves, more stones dragged, more trees felled, repetition of effort, the hypnotic cycle of struggle and progress filling every frame. A storm breaks overhead. Rain soaks the workers as they cling to ropes, mud sliding beneath their feet, yet still they pull, drenched and determined. Thunder rumbles while torches hiss and smoke. Sunlight returns, steam rising from stone as water evaporates, men pushing forward in silence. The camera drifts between scenes of construction, hunting, cooking, gathering reeds, weaving mats, sharpening spears, the rhythm unbroken. As the walls grow taller, rough shadows stretch, long in the evening glow, until finally the wide shot pulls back to reveal the massive unfinished stone wall, jagged against the darkening sky, surrounded by smouldering fires and weary builders resting in the dirt, the jungle breathing around them, their monument standing as proof of ancient endurance, silent, raw, and eternal.